Hello everyone, James from Junkyard Fox here, back at you with another outdoor arena review. And today we're reviewing the Vargo titanium folding stoves, two in particular. So let's pull them out. Okay, 1, 2, right here. Now this one is the Vargo titanium Hexagon Woodstove. This one's particularly good for boiling some water if you want to make some coffee in the morning, some tea at night, soup for lunch. This works very well. And over here we have the Vargo titanium Firebox Grill. Now it's a grill, so say you're hiking and you want to cook up something, some brats, some chicken, anything like that, that'll work very well. Okay, so let's discuss these in detail, each one. So let's start with the grill itself. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open this. As you can tell, they come with some protection, a pouch with the Velcro up here, and they are very slim, very lightweight, so they fit very well in your pack. And let me just open this one. Place this down. And it looks more complicated than it really is. Just gotta piece them together. And here's the Firebox Grill. Now, of course, you can open it this way, place your fuel in here, close it up, and this is where you cook up your meat. Now for the Hexagon Woodstove. Once again, it also comes with a pouch that keeps it nice and tidy and very lightweight, just doesn't take up a lot of space in your pack. Velcro on top, so that just holds it in. Okay, accordion style. And then let me just roll it out. These hinges connect over here. Roll it. The opening here, the slot here. That was pretty stupid of me. There we go. Simple as that. And there you go. And here's your door for adding fuel, letting some air go in there, some air intake. Just flatten this out a little bit. And you can place your container up here, your metal cup, your canteen, something like that to boil some water. If you want to make some ramen or anything like that, this is the way to go. Now, of course, there's some holes down here to allow some air in here. Same thing down here with the grate. Okay, so let's get some camp cooking going. Now we have some bratwurst right here. Now I'm going to use the grill to just burn a couple of them, cook a couple of them to go ahead and mix with our soup here. We have vegetable soup that we're going to use the stove for. And then we're going to mix them so we can make an improvised gumbo. Now, I know there's going to be some smart Alex out there that are going to say, why wouldn't you just get the gumbo soup? But then we wouldn't have much of a test. I want to use both at once for a meal. And of course, there's some spices here, make it a little spicy. So let's go ahead and get these burning. I'm going to get a nice bed of coals going, first of all. Okay, so we've let some wood burn there for about 20 minutes just to make sure that we have a good bed of coals. Now keep in mind I live in the desert, so it's extremely easy to get a fire going. However, it's extremely hard to keep that fire burning because everything's so thin. So we don't have any thicker wood, hardwoods out here, so it can be a little bit of a nuisance when it comes to cooking. So we have to make sure that it's nice and hot. Then I'm going to place 2 of these. Hopefully it starts dying down. Meanwhile, the brats cook. Let's go ahead and get this started. And I waited for this to burn afterwards, just get started afterwards, because it's not going to take as long to heat up soup than to cook pork. So I didn't want to have this all boiling and hot in the meantime while those guys cook. Okay. Here it is. Let's let that burn. Get it nice and hot. Okay, we just moved it slightly over here because it's very low to the ground, so there's sand here and it's not letting oxygen get in there and it keeps dying on me. And I've noticed, I've had these for about 3 months and I've noticed this happening quite often. It's a little too low to the ground where to comfortably let oxygen in here. Okay, but over this rock it should be okay. So let a fire get nice and going, and then we'll place our soup. Now meanwhile, these brats cook, I just want to show you guys adding fuel in here once this lid is closed is just putting it in between the grates. Now, I just don't want to risk opening and closing it, opening and closing it, because it does open on you. It is slightly open. It does unhinge, and that becomes a little bit of a nuisance. You can't really close it now because it's really hot, so you just gotta improvise. But in the meantime, it's fine. They're cooking. Okay, so the stove is getting nice and hot. I can go ahead and place my cup up here with the soup. And once again, this door controls the intake of air. Now, one thing I've noticed is this thing needs air quite often or else it dies. So I always leave this open for the most part unless I'm trying to kill the fire in there. Now the soup is already beginning to boil, so it's nice and warm. This gave me no issues today. Sometimes it has given me issues with it going out because of the lack of air intake, but today we're high on a mountain, on a canyon, so there's no problem with that. Now it is pretty warm. I don't want this to get too overboiled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out. They've been cooking for about 20 minutes, a little longer probably. And I'm going to chop them up. And I'm going to place them in the soup. Throw in some pepper. Throw in lots of cayenne. And some garlic salt. So the soup's been boiling for about 2 minutes, so it's ready. Definitely ready. I don't want to overcook this too much. Just wanted to make sure that the pork was good. So from here, let's take this out and let it cool off. And we no longer need this anymore. We're not going to cook anything else, so let's just close this up and start letting the air die out in here. Like this one's already done. And that's the cool thing about titanium. It heats up fast, but it cools down fast. So once the flames start dying down here, they'll be pretty cool in a few minutes. You can put them away. And then in the meantime, let's let this cool off and take off the lid. And our lunch is ready. So we just got to let it cool off for a little bit, and then it's chow time. Trying to cool this off for a little bit. Now, in my infinite wisdom, I forgot my spoon today, so all I have is the meat fork, which is fine. I'll snag what I can, and what I can't, I'll just drink up. Not bad. Not bad at all. Anyways, before I enjoy my lunch, I want to just go ahead and recap, and then just let you guys know on a couple of final thoughts that I have on these things. Now, these two stoves, their biggest strength, at least in my opinion, is the fact that they're lightweight, they're titanium, and they can fold up into a neat little package in their pouch, so they don't take up a lot of room in your pack. So all those of you lightweight guys out there who like to, count every ounce in your pack, this is going to be something for you. However, there is some drawbacks to these that I've noticed. Once again, I've tested them for about 3 months. Now, for example, the grill, it works pretty good. However, say you put a large steak on here or something like that, for you to be having to move it, to constantly be opening this to add fuel, that does become a pain after a while. It becomes a nuisance. Not only that, but notice right here in the corner, it opens. Sometimes these things unravel, And even though I was still able to cook my food, I don't like the fact that they can kind of come off, you know, sometimes. So the fact that there's no clear place to add your fuel, you got to look in there. And the fact that it can unravel pretty easily, I don't really like that too much. Keep in mind, they do great, but not $70 great. So for $70, I want something that's going to be a little bit more efficient than this. Now moving on to the stove over here. The Hexagon Woodstove. This one's really good. In fact, I like this one a little bit better. However, we did have to move it from the sand over here to a rock. Now it's very low to the ground. There's holes underneath for air intake, and that becomes a problem because it's so low to the ground that air doesn't go in here a lot of times. And because of that, your fire dies out. You have to constantly be, blowing in here, and it does become a nuisance. So what I have heard some people do is, some owners of this, is they'll drill holes here to allow for air in there. And that's great. But keep in mind, it's $50. For $50, I shouldn't have to do anything. It should already be the way it is. It should already be ready to go. So in my opinion, I think they're slightly overpriced for their flaws. They work good. They just don't work for what they're being sold for. So other than that, they're okay. That's pretty much what I'm going to say. They're okay. If you like them, that's really good. I would have to say, and this is probably the first time in the outdoor arena history where I have to say I'm leaning more towards not recommending them. For that amount of money, you could probably get yourself a better alternative that's just slightly more efficient. Keep in mind, about a year ago, I was in the downtown gutters of my city, and I made a hobo stove out of nothing but garbage. And where this one has the strength of just folding up in your pack, the other one was able to cook things a lot easier. So I spent $0 on that. So for me, $70, $50, I think it's a little too much. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and send these out to another member of the outdoor arena, and I'm going to enjoy my lunch. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet to keep up with my adventures. And I'll see you guys next week with another video. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.